This week we're going to round up the mini-series by looking at how meditation can be brought out for the benefit of others in the world.
Lighting the incense creates a generous and respectful heart.
The concept of the crystal ball is well introduced. This is the shape of the mind.
I tried to continue some of the meditation, but after a while I became busy, I became rather distant from it, and so I kind of let it slide.
I'll be taking you to the gathering place of living truth for true happiness.
Sawadee ka. Welcome to another edition of Meditation for All, a program designed to assist individuals in finding the path and tools necessary for them to lead better lives by incorporating meditation into their daily lives. I am Chanan Ponrotjan and I will be guiding you through the program. We have now come to the last episode of our mini-series on basic meditation for beginners. In this lecture, Venerable Nicholas Thanisaro will emphasize the necessity for us to bring out the benefits of meditation for the benefits of others, to solve problems in society and problems of the so-called New Age that had never before been encountered in history. In order for us to step into this New Age together, we must put away our prejudice, develop the right perspective and awareness, and expand our compassion toward others. And meditation will help us to do all that.
Welcome back to the 10th and final session of our mini-series on meditation for beginners. Last week we already looked at how meditation can be used to solve problems confronted in our everyday lives. This week we're going to round up the mini-series by looking at how meditation can be brought out for the benefit of others in the world. There may be some who wonder how meditation can actually help in society, but in fact there's a lot of improvement which need to be made in society today because of many problems which we are confronting which have perhaps never happened before in the course of human history. There's evidence, for example, that the fossil fuels are beginning to become depleted. The population is growing exponentially, and it's going to be a problem in the near future to find enough to feed everybody. We also have problems of infectious diseases which we've never before come across in the history of human civilization, and although we have advanced technology in medical science, there's still evidence that we cannot curtail the spread of some infectious diseases despite our level of scientific knowledge. On the environmental side, we are having problems with global warming, thermal pollution, and also the ozone layer is becoming depleted as well. So there are many bad things which we are facing up to in the course of our modern history. But on the brighter side, there are also good things and good predictions ahead for how society may be improving in the future. Part of this is seeing that the attitude of people in the civilized world is changing these days, so that people no longer see one another as enemies anymore, and they're having a more globalized view of humanity. They don't feel separated by countries, nationalities or religions so much as they used to. Now there's more a general feeling of well-being for humankind as a whole in the world. Some have even gone as far as to say that we are entering on what we call a new age. And a new age is rather an optimistic view of an ideal future for humanity. The new age may be an ideal, but in fact, if it is something more than an ideal, then it's certain that meditation will have an important part to play in making it happen. So, how in fact can meditation help us to reach towards something of a new age which is going to be better and more harmonious for humankind, and the sort of world where humankind can live in harmony within the natural world? Well, There are two important ways in which meditation can help us to do this. Firstly, by reducing our prejudices. This means that if we are able to meditate well, then instead of seeing ourselves as someone separate from the rest of humanity or the rest of the world, we will start to see the rest of the world as our brothers and sisters, and we want to treat them in the same way as we would treat ourselves. How exactly we'll do this, then that's something we're going to look at in a few moments. A second sort of thing which we need to work on very urgently if we're going to enter upon a more positive new age is to reach out with our practice. Instead of simply being contented to practice for ourselves, we need to encourage others to practice as well. So let's see how we can work on our prejudices. First of all, we have to understand how prejudices come about. Much of the prejudices we come across in the world are coming from a weakness which we have, in that we have a very clear standpoint if we have a conventional view of the world. If I'm sitting on one side of a table, then I see things from my own perspective. I don't see things from another person's perspective. And even a very small difference of point of view can lead to trivial things creating arguments. Take something like the number 6, for example. If I look at the number 6 from my side, then what I see is a number 6, and there's no discussion about that. But looked at from the other side of the table, a person might argue with me, saying, "Oh no, that's not a number 6, in fact it's a number 9, because you've turned it on its head," from their point of view. What meditation helps us to do is to see things from a more neutral perspective, not from my perspective or your perspective, but from a perspective which is more generally true and more objective. This is something which we get from the fact that the mind is in the center of the body the whole of the time. Even small proverbs, things like "make hay while sun shines," or "more haste, less speed," in fact they're contradictory, but you can use them in both to a good advantage, these proverbs, in different situations. But the same situation, giving rise to the different proverbs, may in fact cause arguments if we're not careful. But if we have a mind which is attuned to the center of our body by the fact that we meditate, then we will be less able to fall into the rut of believing solely our own point of view in a particular matter. This is why there's a saying that we are the I in the word sin. Sin, of course, means bad things, but at the center of the word sin we see the word I. And this is showing that, in fact, it's when we have our own egotistical view of the world that many bad things happen, because we tend to take advantage of other people. Supposing you were living in the world and you lived by yourself without a family, you wouldn't need to take very much interest in anyone else, because the decisions which you made didn't affect the lives of other people. You would only have to worry about whether there's food on your own plate. But supposing from living by yourself you get yourself a family, you find yourself as the leader of a household. Now, if you only take an interest whether there's food on your own plate, and take no interest whether there's food on the plate of your spouse or children, then others would be deservedly calling you a selfish person. However, if you become leader of a family, you have to expand your circle of awareness to include all the members of your family. You have to be compassionate enough to think about whether they have food on their plates as well. Maybe be more concerned that they have food on their plates than you are concerned about your own welfare. This would be a sign that you have expanded your awareness to all the members of your family. And in fact, this is important because your circle of influence extends to all of them. If their lives are touched by your decisions, then you have to have an awareness of the people who it includes. Supposing they elect you as mayor of your own small town. Again, you have to expand the boundaries of your awareness to include all the people under your governance. If you are the mayor of a town and you think only of yourself or only of the welfare of your own family, then again people would accuse you of being a selfish person. You have to expand your awareness to include the welfare of every single person in your own town, because your decisions reach out to touch the lives of every person in your town. If they elect you as president of your own country, then again you cannot afford simply to think of yourself or your own family or your hometown anymore. You have to think of everyone's lives in your own country. Why? Because your decisions touch the lives of everyone in your country. Therefore, supposing you are moving up in the world to becoming president, then you also have to be able to expand the boundaries of your awareness to include compassion towards everyone in your own nation. Nowadays in the world where everything is connected, in fact, being president of a single country, you cannot afford just to think of your own country anymore. You have to think of the welfare of everybody in the world, because we share the same environment, we share the same planet, so the things we do affect other people in the world. When this is the case, when we know our decisions reach out to touch the lives of so many other people in different countries of the world, of course, before we take on the position of president, we ought to make sure that certainly our awareness and our compassion extends to everyone in the world. And this is why the higher we go in leadership, the more important it becomes to have a good grasp of meditation techniques in order that we can expand our awareness to the extent which our decisions reach. So we can see that the ideal world requires meditators. The more responsible you are in the world, the more meditation is necessary. If we can manage to do this, then we start to work towards a model of prosperity in our world where we're not just talking about material prosperity anymore, but we're talking about material prosperity going hand in hand with spiritual prosperity. Because there are two sorts of poverty in our world. There's material poverty, which normally are concerned about hunger and famine and so on, and there is spiritual poverty as well. Some people who have plenty to eat and drink, but they are addicted to, for example, gambling or drinking or drugs, which doesn't allow them to take their birthright, in other senses of the word. We see some societies, such as in the Western world, which are very poor on spiritual values while being materially very prosperous. At the other extreme, we see that some countries like India are spiritually very rich, but materially not so prosperous. In the ideal world which we are looking for, we ought to be both materially and spiritually prosperous. And the way which we can redress the balance, especially if we are in the Western world, is by meditating more in order to make sure our spiritual values keep up with our material prosperity in life. Only in that way can we be both materially and spiritually prosperous in our new age of the future. A second thing I'd like to talk about, in a way which we can help to foster in the new age, is that we cannot afford simply to benefit from meditation on our own. Really, we need to reach out to others in society with the benefits which we've got from our own meditation. Supposing you live in a neighborhood where you feel very peaceful from your own meditation, but you haven't never talked to your neighbors about meditation or about the advantages of living a peaceful life or a way of life where you don't take advantage of others. Maybe someday in the future, although you may be very peaceful in your own house, but when you share your neighborhood with others, someday the selfishness of the other people in your neighborhood may affect your life in an adverse way. There's a story of an old lady in Thailand who led a very kind and compassionate life, and she would go out almsgiving every morning for the benefit of the monks who came from a local temple. Really, this was generosity which she did for her own benefit. She never talked to any of her other neighbors about that. There was one particular day when this old lady was standing gleefully in front of her own house giving gifts to the monks. But then a local drug addict came along, and seeing the old lady may have some money on her, came up to her and threatened her if she didn't give him the money he needed. When she put up a struggle, he beat her and actually killed the old lady. Many people wondered whether this was rather an undeserving way for the old lady to come to an end of her life. But in fact, if you think about it, if the old lady had done more in order to reach out to her own neighborhood with some of the good values which she showed for herself, maybe this incident would not have happened at all. It's by way of illustrating that really in our society, if we have something good, especially on the spiritual side, then we need to reach out to other people with it. Otherwise, we ourselves may be the sort of person who is suffering from our negligence sometime in the future. And this is an important message for all of you who have followed this mini-series right up to now, where you've learned so much about meditation and hopefully put some of it into practice for yourself as well. In fact, on this course, we've covered many aspects of meditation. We've talked about meditation on the level of the mind itself, observing the changes in the mind, before and after meditation, and even being able to evaluate our own quality of mind at any time. We've talked about the benefits of meditation on our level of knowledge, both material and spiritual, realizing how much we know, how much we don't know, and even how spiritual knowledge can be transferred from one person to another. We've also looked at how our outlook on the world can affect how we deal with hindrances which come up in our meditation, and we've compared these impurities to clouds which block out the sun, admixtures in glasses of water, and even impurities in the elements, all of which conspire to stop our mind from coming to a standstill. We've also talked about the benefits of meditation on the level of personality, how to deal, in other words, with our bad habits, and knowing how to be a teacher to ourselves, actively learning instead of passively learning, through the quality of having respect. We've talked about the benefits of meditation on the level of lifestyle to deal with life's problems, and we have seen the interconnectedness between meditation and everyday life. We've also looked at how a clear aim in life helps us divide our time more usefully, and how we can give our state of mind more independence from the negative influences in the outside world. On the level of society, well, that is something which we talked about earlier today. So, today we've come to the end of the first season of our mini-series on meditation for beginners. It's my hope, however, that we will not be parting at this point, because there is so much more to learn and a lot more which I would like to teach to you. In fact, there's a whole lot more to learn about meditation, whether it be the lifestyle which is compatible with meditation, or the nature of the emotions in the mind. So this is really only just scratching the surface of the rich cultural heritage which has been passed down to us through the tradition of Buddhism. So I would advise that all of you stay tuned for the forthcoming second season of meditation course, which will be due to be announced shortly. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you again, and keep meditating while at the same time taking good care of yourself.
Next on Buddhist culture, you will learn the importance of the lighting of 3 incense sticks. It is a very common practice for Buddhists to pay homage to the Triple Gem, with the 3 sticks representing the Lord Buddha, his teachings, and his disciples. The incense itself offers a soothing scent that helps one to achieve a tranquil mind.
Lighting incense. To pay homage to the Triple Gem, 3 incense sticks are lit. One for the Lord Buddha himself, one for his teaching, or Dharma, and another one is for his disciples, or Sangha. Lighting the incense creates a generous and respectful heart, and the scent helps produce a tranquil mind. The incense itself represents the scent of goodness, the scent of unlimited compassion, and the scent of the ultimate truth that soothes the world and universe. Like incense, Buddhists hope to run their life to the final end, radiating the light of wisdom and the sweet smell of merit that lingers long after the end of this life. All lives burn out in the end, yet the inspiring legacy of some lives on.
Venerable Somsak Biyasilo will now guide you through your meditation and take you back to the turning point. So let's get ourselves ready and relaxed.
Welcome you back to the meditation session together. This is session number 10 that we have met so far. I hope you all, my students, enjoy meditation in the center of your own body. For newcomers, just relax and learn the concept of the turning point. The turning point is where our mind will get to focus in the center of the abdomen. It is the deepest place where the in-breath gets up to, down past the lungs, down to the abdomen, and this is the point we shall focus all our attention into this point. The concept of the crystal ball is well introduced. It is the shape of the mind. It is a sphere form, universal, perfectly symmetrical, and this is the object of the mind to focus. Now choose your own, get prepared, choose your own sitting place, like cushion, a pillow, on the chair, on the floor, in any favorite corner of your own. Once you get set, you are ready to close your eyes. Let's close the eyes softly together. Relax. Relaxation is the most important element to the success of meditation. If you don't get relaxed, that meditation time is a kind of tension, and you wouldn't get any benefits from meditation. Relax the entire body, from head down to heels. No exception. All parts of the body are supposed to be free from tension. So we spend some time to allow all parts of the body to relax. Spend some time to allow all the parts of the body to relax. Relaxation requires nothing but the intention to be calm, to be still, to be thought-free. And this is enough to create, to generate relaxation. So we'll be in this process of relaxation together. Take a few good breaths to enhance better relaxation. let's feel we are part of the nature, as if we are sitting amid the big ocean, floating on a small ship, sailing in the center of the vast volume of the ocean. What we could say is nothing but ocean and the sky and the thin line of the horizon. Be part of the ocean, feeling being the center of the waters. Everywhere we are is just a center of the waters. Feel being the center. Feel the center point at the turning point that lies inside the abdomen peacefully. Allow the awareness and the peacefulness blend together at our focal point. The focal point is the turning point, center of the stomach. Then we stay, the mind stays in the center of the body. And the physical body is as if in the center of everywhere. We are just the center of everywhere. Everywhere is the center, like in the center of the ocean. We are in the center of everywhere. Just stay calm and peaceful. In the Buddhist philosophy, wisdom is created from inside. The knowledge and the wisdom, supreme knowledge, is derived from the mind that is well focused inside. We are now in the process of receiving wisdom by focusing our still mind in the center of the body. If you could remember, we have learned many times about the crystal ball. The crystal ball is supposed to be situated at this turning point. It is an imitation of the mind. The real form, the real structure of the mind is round, is a sphere. It is even more meaningful when the sphere is at the gateway. The gateway of the middle path or the middle way according to the Buddhist philosophy. The middle way is the gateway to the journey to get inner wisdom. Now we visualize the crystal ball at this very center point, at this very gateway of the middle way. We are about to learn the wisdom from the inner peace. So remain with the image of the crystal ball. When the mind is peaceful, the crystal ball could blossom. Blossom is the manner that the crystal ball is alive. It could expand in all directions, in all 360 degrees, up and down, left and right, front and back, in all directions. Expanding is blooming outwardly and endlessly. This is the manner of the living crystal ball. So enjoy the manner of this crystal blooming. We do not force the crystal ball to be exactly the same. So we just let it be where it wants to be and how it wants to be. Observe the blooming crystal ball that is expanding with freedom. Enjoy the awareness in the center of the body. Enjoy the expanding sphere of the blooming crystal ball, on and on by itself. There is no restriction regarding the expansion of the bloom. If the crystal ball gets brighter, go ahead. We don't limit the brightness. If the crystal ball goes clearer, we go ahead. We don't limit the clarity. If the crystal ball gets bigger and bigger, go ahead. We don't limit the size. Whatever and however the crystal ball is going to be, just let it be. Remember, let it be. So we are stand still in the process of letting it be. The mind remains at the gateway of the middle path while enjoying the bloom of the ball. we shall always remember to share peace to the world. Let the fruits from our meditation, which is the peace of mind, let this peace of mind to be given to all creatures of the world. Let the happiness derived from peace of mind spread to every square inch of the globe. This is our beloved planet, and let peace prevail to every square inch of our beloved planet. And ladies and gentlemen, it is about time to come out from the inner world to our better world that we live in. Slowly open your eyes and enjoy a bright, better new day. Congratulations.
In our interview session that is coming up, Dr. Aaron Stern will share with us his wonderful meditation experience. He was introduced to meditation 17 years ago as a result of his interest in Buddhism, and was able to attain mental clarity, concentration, self-awareness, and relaxation from meditation. Meditation has made him a better person. And although he leads a very busy life, he still finds time to meditate every morning for at least half an hour, seeing it as a wonderful way to start off his day before all the worries kick in. Let's hear more from him.
Okay, ready? Let's start with Ikara, right? Ready? Hi, my name is Aaron Stern, and I'm here today with, this is my daughter, Arin, or her Thai nickname is Nong Chai, or Nong Chai Sai. And we're here, or perhaps I'm here, better to say that, here to talk to you a little bit about meditation. Perhaps Arin will contribute a little bit, but I don't think she will today. But what I wanted to say first is that I'm a graduate of the University of Michigan. I just completed my doctorate there quite recently. And I think it's safe to say that in a program like that, Michigan is a difficult school, a doctorate is a stressful experience, and meditation is something that I think helped me get through the program and helped me, more than just get through the program, really become a kind of better person, more settled, more stable, and more aware of what I'm doing. So I guess I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my experience up to the present and give you a sense of why it is that I think meditation is such a useful and kind of important practical thing to do for people, not just of course in my situation, but for anyone, whatever level of stress or relaxation you have in your life. Meditation for me was something that I first had an experience with it in 1990 actually, in Thailand. At the time I was teaching English, and I became very interested in sort of Buddhism. I was just curious about it. I wanted to know what it was. I wanted to have a better understanding of what was involved. And I found out that there was a temple in the northeastern part of Thailand that I could go to, and I could spend a couple of weeks there and learn what Buddhism was about. And one thing that I learned was that Buddhism has many different aspects, but one of the most critical aspects of it is meditation. And I spent a lot of time in this is actually 1992, I should say, early 92, meditating at this temple. And it was a wonderful experience for me. It was difficult at first because I had never done anything like this before. But in the end, what I found was that I achieved a kind of mental clarity, a level of concentration, and a feeling of just I don't know, maybe self-awareness and a feeling of being relaxed, which I'd never experienced before in my life. I'd never had that, even whether it was from a good night's sleep or whether having accomplished some major task. This kind of feeling had never been with me and really been sustained for that kind of period. And so I left this temple, and I tried to continue some of the meditation, but after a while I became busy, I became rather distant from it, and so I kind of let it slide. But when I started my doctorate in 1998, the program, as I said, was quite stressful. I was teaching classes, I was trying to pass certain kinds of exams, I was taking courses, I was trying to always, in a constant search for money. And what ended up happening was, are you finding this interesting, Arin? Okay. What ended up happening was that I realized that I needed something to slow myself down, in a sense. Instead of constantly being busy, instead of constantly moving, constantly thinking, constantly trying to do whatever was on my list of things for the day, I found what was important to do is actually to stop the mind, which is a very important part of meditation. You want to make the mind clear of all these sort of jumble of thoughts, jumble of responsibilities and things that you have to do over the course of any given day. And just let your mind clear and let yourself go and let your body relax and your mind relax along with it. This is an important part of meditation. I'm not saying this is easy to do. It was very, very difficult for me. It took me a long, long time to get to a point where I could just relax my mind even for 5 or 10 minutes. People say that it's difficult to find 5 or 10 minutes in a day sometimes to sit down, but believe me, if you think about it and you put a little bit of willpower into it, you can find 5 or 10 minutes. All you have to do is maybe wake up 5 or 10 minutes earlier than you normally do, which is what I started doing, except eventually I started waking up about 30 minutes and 40 minutes and 1 hour before I would normally wake up before I started meditating. What I found was that by meditating it was a wonderful way for me to start my day. It was a way for me to, in a sense, get up before this massive jumble of responsibilities and thoughts and worries and anxieties would enter my mind. I could sit down in the morning, very quiet, before anybody else got up, and meditate. And the way I would do that is I would usually stretch to make my body a little more relaxed so that my muscles weren't very tense. And then I'd sit down and usually meditate for perhaps a half an hour, on a good day, maybe 40, 45 minutes. And what ended up happening was that if I started my day this way, my day would almost always go better. Obviously, meditation can't control everything in life. There are certain external forces that come into play. But it was amazing for me to find that when I meditated, I was able to get more done. I was able to do it with a greater level of concentration. My behavior, I didn't forget things as much. I didn't stub my toe on a chair as I'm running out the door. And I could actually communicate better with my family and my wife. And all these things, and I was very surprised about this at first. I thought, why would meditation allow me to have these kinds of benefits? And I can't proclaim that I understand exactly why these things are, but I do know that there's a clear relationship between my behavior and whether I meditate in the morning or at some time during the day. And oftentimes I sometimes will meditate at night before I go to bed as well. It's been a real pleasure for me. It's been a real surprise for me to have that kind of experience. And I can sort of really count the days where if I had something, maybe I slept a little bit late and I did have, and I didn't meditate, or I didn't meditate as long as I should have, and the day just did not progress as well as it normally should, or my work didn't go as well. So for me, aside from many spiritual kind of considerations connected with meditation, meditation has had real practical benefits for me in my life. And this is something that I can't deny and something I'm very happy about. And as a result, this is why I'm sitting here with my daughter to try and, in a sense, tell you that I think there are real benefits to this. And the hardest part in some ways is to start. And I'm sort of wondering, perhaps when Arin is going to start meditating, although my wife and I, we're trying to get to teach her initially. And I think she'll pick it up eventually. Young children have very kind of flexible, open minds, so it's not a bad time to start when a child is young for meditation. But I started when I was over 30 years old, so that doesn't seem to be any sort of obstacle or anything that would prevent you from engaging in this kind of activity. It's really a wonderful thing. And I guess the kind of last thing I want to say about meditation is that when you start, you're going to feel that your mind is unable to stop. And that can be a very difficult thing. I highly, highly recommend certain kinds of exercises, whether it's yoga or just stretching, to relax the body a bit before you start, because there is a connection between the mind and the body. If your body is more relaxed, you'll find it's easier to relax your mind. This is something that I've found over and over again. And it may require waking up, another 5 or 10 minutes earlier than you normally would in the morning, as I said before. But I believe that the benefits are truly worth it. And once you find a way to make your mind slow down, which for me is still a very difficult thing to do, but once the mind slows down, there's a real feeling of relaxation and a sense of happiness, which is completely internal. That's what's interesting about this, is it's not dependent on any person outside of you. It's not dependent on somebody giving you something. It's not dependent on something telling you something. It's something that you can do on your own, you can achieve on your own internally. And I find that to be sort of amazing and kind of wonderful and practical all at the same time. So I must give credit to meditation for enabling me to get through my program. Would you like to go down and get your rabbit? Very good. So that's really all I would like to say about the benefits of meditation. I know that there are many ways that you can watch this very program and get a lot of useful tips, a lot of useful ideas about how to meditate, how to clear the mind. There are very specific ways that one can do that. It depends to a certain extent on the individual, about what works best for the individual. But I will say this, that I've gotten real benefits from it, and I hope that you receive these same benefits as me. So thank you very much for your time. Rin, can we say goodbye to everybody, please? All right, ready? So let's see. Let's sawadee-ka, everyone, okay? Come up and sit. All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Sawadee-ka.
On tour of the temple, Vera will take us to the great Sapatamagaya Hall at Pratamagai Temple in Pathum Thani, Thailand. This hall is considered to be the heart of the temple, serving as the common gathering place for Buddhists and peace lovers who come from all over the world to pay respect to the Triple Gem and to practice meditation. Lying on the vast expanse of land, the great Sapatamagaya Hall can shelter over 300,000 people.
Sawadee-ka. My name is Vera Rungtrugul, and you're joining me on the tour of the temple at Wat Pratamagai in Pathum Thani, Thailand. Today, I'll be taking you to the gathering place of living truth for true happiness. Right from the start of the creation of Wat Pratamagai, the pioneers intended to create a haven for Dharma practice as a refuge of peace to a tormented world. Exemplary practices of that small group of devotees inspired the faith of an increasingly large number of people. To keep up with the growth of the congregation, the Jatu Maharajika Hall was built, accommodating up to 500 people. But within 10 years, as the numbers grew to tens of thousands, the Sapajak or Thatched Tamakaya Hall was built, accommodating up to 12,000 people. But as the visitors grew to the hundreds of thousands, this necessitated the creation of an even larger meditation hall to accommodate everyone. Right next to me is the Great Tamakaya Hall, a multi-purpose facility built from 1996 to 2000, and that still remains unfinished. This massive structure is a 2-story building that, when completed, will be the largest building of its kind created in this world. The enormity of this project is truly amazing, and when finished, this structure will cover an area of over 40 acres. This hall is used for important ceremonies, meditation practice, and Dharma training. It offers a venue large enough to accommodate 300,000 people and is used on Sundays and Buddhist holidays. Here is where you'll find Longpa Tamachayo, the abbot of the temple, leading meditation sessions on Sundays. On regular days, you might wonder why such a large structure is created. But you'll find, however, that on Sundays and Buddhist holidays, this structure that seemed so big might actually seem small. The rear is covered by a gigantic mosquito net, probably the world's largest, where the abbot conducts his Dharma teaching every evening. His Dharma teachings are aired every day throughout the world via the DMC International Satellite Broadcasting Network. In the present day, the congregation at Wat Pah Thamakai continues to grow with no signs of let. The gathering of hundreds of thousands of peace lovers from all over the world sends a positive message that world peace is within our reach. But if only individuals first find peace within themselves. You're welcome to this great Tamakaya Hall to experience this for yourself. See you soon. Sawadee ka.
We hope this presentation has aided many to find the peace of mind in order to overcome the obstacles that life constantly throws our way. Please let us know how you think about our program. Write to us at meditationforall@yahoo.com. Until we meet again next time, Sawadee ka.